Well, welcome everybody. Welcome to the SAF1 Season 4, Round 7. We're just past the halfway point of our championship. Lots of my commentary online, but most regularly here with SAF1 now. And very pleased to be here. I am too. Hi to Ryan, who's already arrived in the chat and said hello, and always good to see Ryan, friendly person around. And anybody else watching, please let me know who you are, who you're here for, and maybe any predictions. I'm on my own tonight. We've had a few problems with getting Tim dialed in, so unfortunately no Tim tonight, just me. So I'm going to be leaning on you guys to give me a hand wherever possible when it comes to the stream, and you know, the usual request stand. If you see something that is important for me to be talking about and you don't hear me talking about it, let me know, and I'll be right there with you. Very grateful for it. As far as the driver standings are concerned, we have Madtrav leading the way, of course, on 156, followed by Phantom on 121, Don Rabico in on 107, although other drivers are starting to catch him after not the best result, I should say, following the previous race. Duckster, Quentin, not Shumi, your top 6. But we also welcome to SAF1 making his debut tonight. We have JR Designs, who I know fairly well from leagues of old, and he's joining Simps in the Haas, and we'll be looking forward to seeing how he goes on his debut. I don't think we've got any other major announcements to make, other than this is race 7 of a 12 race season, and we're about to get ourselves on track and underway for you. McLaren lead the championship for the constructors by just a very tiny 4 points at this stage of the game, with Mercedes in 3rd, despite Madtrav winning nearly every race so far. Alpine, Red Bull. I think we might be lacking a little bit of spark tonight. Sparks has been unable to join us, but hopefully we'll have some good racing for you nonetheless. And I've just had a weather update from our leader, our boss, Quentin, to say that we are expecting some dry weather for the entire Grand Prix. So, what are we expecting here tonight? Are we going to see a change in form from our normal business, which is to see Madtrav right up there? Let's hope so. It looks like first out of the pits and on track is Jaime Alonso, and he's just finishing off this beautiful circuit and his installation lap for it. Q1, of course, is all about who we eliminate, and I think we will lose 2 drivers, possibly 3, given that we have 16 starters in this session. Remains to be seen. So, Jaime Alonso then will join him on board as he stares at the sky and looks for a braking point into turn 1, about 64 miles an hour at the apex, and then releases the car. And how many corners through this section does he dare go flat out? We'll see, as it's so easy for the drivers to invalidate across this famous Estes section. A couple of changes of surface. You can see different patches of tarmac staying valid so far, and that's the difficult part. Pretty much done with of the track. It's now very all about nailing the specific apexes. Away he goes, then 4th gear to exit the hairpin at turn 11. Slowest point on the track, and then another long wait for a braking point into turn 12. Right across the esports line there with Jaime Alonso. Gets the car nicely through, avoids traffic. Obviously a purple sector as he goes in towards turn 13, 14. Now the difficult braking zone of turn 15. One long continuous apex, and now the Yahoo 16, 17, 18, very reminiscent of the famous turn 8 in Turkey, before blink and you miss it. Turn 19 is dealt with very quickly, and then nailing turn 20 and the final turn on the course away to the line. A 32.838 for Jaime Alonso is the first lap out there, and I think Quentin might be pursuing a lap. He is, but he has gone invalid, unfortunately. Let's see what our newcomer JR is up to, and sprints for the line then. 32.538. Second place right now is a very nice place to set a banker time, so GG's for him. What about his teammate Simps? Also on a lap. Will not want a debutant to beat him particularly easily. Simps. Let's wait with him while I say hello to ARL, who I'm closely affiliated with, and in fact they will recognise JR Designs as Josh Unknown, or Josh Known as he's been previously regarded. But yeah, great to have friends join to enjoy the race with us. Trying out a few bells and whistles on the stream. I hope you enjoy seeing the standings and other things that I can add through the streaming method. Well, Simps, again, keeping the lap alive, keeping valid. Almost over now. Misses the apex into 19, but keeps the minimum speed relatively good. Very close on the apex, 320 and a 33.0. Does see him behind JR, but Phantom, after a small hiatus, rejoins the league and has the provisional pole by some distance. Well, provisional fastest time, let me say. Of course, we are only in Q1, so Phantom at 31.658 is a very tidy banker lap to put in. It might even be good enough for him to sit out the rest of the session if he so wishes. So Simps with a nice time. Let's see who else is currently working the wheel. We've got Xander out there, but he's already set a lap, 33.5, as has Viking. Still waiting on Not Shumi, on Matty and Matrav. See where they are relative to each other on track. Matty behind Not Shumi, Matrav, always good one to watch. Very close behind, and Quentin as well, already starting a second outlap, it seems. So, Not Shumi for Aston Martin. Cross the apex nicely. Just to say a big thank you to our sponsors. That's Quintessential Photo and Video Works, DR Developments, and Ravaco Holdings, without whom we would not be going racing tonight. So thank you to them. Shumi is staying nicely valid through here. Let's have a quick check-in with Matty. Similarly, staying on the lap, so is Matrav. See how our championship leader progresses through the S's here. Definitely looking very comfortable on the circuit. Matrav does tend to tell us in race interviews, post-race interviews, that every track is not necessarily his best track. I'm not sure which is his best track, but it's just a little bit of mind games possibly for the rest of the guys. A 102 Sector 2 for Not Shumi. About to finish off his lap. Sun in his eyes as he approaches the braking zone for the final corner on the track. And away to the line then. A 32.498 is very tidy. Top Dog has still to go top, but he's second, 32.176. So we'll drop down and see Matty finishing off his lap. Matty with a 33.6. And it looks like Matrav is going pretty slowly on this one. He's bailed this lap attempt. I wonder if he'll be in the pits or if he'll be starting another one. We'll keep an eye on Matrav. Love to capture a pole live if possible. not making any assumptions, of course. So Quintin then waiting for that braking zone. Hasn't set a time on his first run. That's true of I think Neil Hamrick and Dom Rabico, although Hamrick might be just late to the session. I picked up a message to suggest maybe he would. Quintin hooking up all three apexes very nicely. Likewise, 10.19. Good bit of work. A 31.7 is much closer, and a second place for Quintin there against Phantom. Let's join Madtrav, who I think is actually on his lap right now, slightly over his fastest time. Obviously, he did go relatively slowly on that first lap, bringing the softs into temperature. Anybody else watching? Anybody else want to say hello? Want to shout out? Go right ahead. A reminder, this is SAF1. You can follow SAF1 on Twitter, where you'll find me at WebORed5. And we'd love it if you'd subscribe to the channel tonight and like the video if you're enjoying what you see. Although maybe I'll wait till into Q3 before pushing that one too far. Madtrav at 31.397, comfortably quickest by just over 2/10 of a second, I should say. Madtrav, there's a decent lap in, and just watch for the fireworks when he actually gets to push hard next next time out. We've got outlaps for the tail of the field at the moment for Neil Hamrick and Dom Rabico. Of course, a focus will be on the guys on the bubble for elimination, but nice to see what Madtrav can do for this, to bear in mind for the next session. 31.3 is the fastest time we have on the board so far. Hamrick just preparing the car. Looks like Neil is on a lap, just struggling on the connection, possibly to not get a degree of lag, or he's incredibly jerky at using the pad, but I imagine it's connection more than anything. Staying valid. First lap for him, so of course it goes purple. It'd be nice if we got that glitch fixed, because it's annoying. Just about a metre away from the apex through turn 11, but it's so wide there's little drama when it comes to that. Reminder, this is just Q1. We do have full qualifying in SAF1's top division here. This is, I'm reliably informed, the 50th top division race for SAF1. It's a bit of a milestone, especially given the seasons are only 12 races long. Neil closes off then at 32.1, is a very respectable time out there. Ami Alonso's trying to go faster. Let's see how he does through sector 1 before we join one of the drivers who've yet to set a time. Nice close times so far. So far so good, at least. Ami seeing his first sector time arriving for me just now. Xander would like to be collecting a few more points for his Mercedes team. Mercedes heavily leaning on Madtrav at the moment. Just seen a new time there for both Don Rabico on a 32.1 and for Hamrick 32.9. So that pushes Xander, Matty and possibly Royal Viking into the danger zone for this Q1 session. Xander is quicker though, by certainly enough to get himself a little bit more comfortable, get himself above Royal Viking. driver quite far away from the apex there, but he's just taking it easy. Xander has only gone up to P14, unfortunately. Just over 3.5 minutes to go of Q1. Madtrav, Phantom, Neil, all deciding they've done enough at this stage. We know Hamrick's on his way into the pits. Quentin as well, the top 4, all pretty happy with that time. 32.1, seemingly where you'll find confidence in the drivers at the moment. Rest of the drivers generally on the way in. Royal Viking and Matty have got everything to do so far to try and get through. So, tyre warming stage here for Royal Viking. 2 corners to go before we start attacking the lap. 33.3 is his benchmark. You feel a drop into the 32s would leave him breathing a bit easier as we start our final runs of this session, and the top 4 retiring have certainly helped with the traffic issue that might befall the drivers. Royal Viking couldn't ask for a clearer track ahead of him to tackle this one. Somewhat conservative through the first few corners of the S's, but it's enough to gain a 10th on his own time. Very close there to an invalidation. I think just flipping the throttle over the apex probably saved him. Heads down into turn 11 now. How much of a factor the sun in the eyes is going to be for the drivers tonight. Remember, the track has plenty of evolution still to come. Viking stamps on the brakes with about 90 meters according to the track marker boards, which seem a little bit off to me, but again, it just consolidated that. Not sure it's going to be enough to move him up just yet. Needs to push a little bit harder through this final sector. It might have been the plan. El plan was to take it easy on the softs on the first 2 sectors and go for it in the final one. See how we get through. It does look like we're understeering a little bit. And away to the line, it's a 32.9, big improvement, yeah, and really saved plenty of grip for that final sector. So Royal Viking improving. Matty's improving so far through sector 1. We'll see how he gets on through the next 2. Short shifts, and it's he's dropped a little in sector 2. Just seemingly struggling on traction a little bit, Matty. Struggling to get the car accelerating in a straight line. Right on that white line on the braking zone for the final corner. Similarly on the exit, and it's, yeah, just not enough to improve. Xander and Matty, and it looks like Simps as well, somewhat embarrassed by his teammate tonight, perhaps. I'll try and get an update on that for you, but yeah, Simps, Xander, and Matty do look like the likely candidates for elimination. Could be 2 of them, could be 3 of them. Forgive me, I'm not entirely sure how the game is going to work it out. Seems like you lose 10 and then you divide the remainder between the 2 first qualifying sessions, perhaps. But on the way into the pits comes Royal Viking, having saved himself certainly from elimination here. So it looks like Madtrav on that 131.3 will not be beaten in this one. From Phantom, Quentin, then Neil, Top Dog, Don Rabico, Imi, Shumi, JR, Zardi, Hamrick, Viking, Maestro, Simps, Xander, and Matty. Your race order so far. But of course, we press the reset button as we go into Q2. Here are your standings then for Q1. Mantra, Phantom, Quentin, Neil, Top Dog, then Dom Ramako, Amy Alonso, Shumi, JR Design, Zardi, Hamrick, Royal Viking. Bit of a set of divisions there. You can see that the top 10, top 9 very much distant from the rest of the group. You then have Hamrick, Royal Viking, Tiago, Simps, Xander. In fact, we are only going to lose Matty from the session, so we will have five to lose in the next one. So apologies to Matty there. That sucks, being the only one eliminated. Q2 starts. We've got 15 minutes to go in our session. 15 drivers as well. It's Amy Alonso out there first, as it was in session in Q1. So he's ahead of several drivers here on track who will need to slow up a little to get out of the way. He's just taking it easy. I wonder if he'll be expecting to be overtaken by anybody coming up behind him. I think it must be Simps behind him who's slowing now. So excuse me, Amy Alonso will go for that next lap. Heading on now into the S's. Of course, tyre choice all important for this one. Not Shumi has gone for the mediums, as has JR and Hamrick. JR obviously feeling like it's a good time to use a set of mediums to see how the pace compares. Get a banker lap in there. Nice early sector, big wide line through the turn 15 corner, gets on the throttle nice and early, holds the car very tightly on the apex, heading through the turn 18. Let's see what Amy can produce out of this car. Fourth gear as he accelerates away from the final corner, 32.4. Of course, as I mentioned, we'll probably see quicker times than that, but it's got a time in the bank. And 3 potential runs for the drivers. Simps on a 34.4. Who else have we got finishing off a lap? Looks like one of our Mercedes drivers. Madtrav then, 33.2, taking it easy on those softs. Doesn't want to give the game away too much. Simps was going backwards in the infield as Viking goes P2 on a 33.1. Let's join Phantom then with 2 corners to go. Away to the line, and again Phantom doing very similarly to Madtrav, making sure that his time is not a complete giveaway. Not Shumi, medium tyres, 33.0. That looked flat out to the line at least. Some of our drivers messing around a little bit, and JI with a very nice tow from his teammate, although his teammate didn't really get out of the way quite as smoothly as he'd have hoped. Then Q2 will be quite a safe at 33.5 on mediums, some half a second off. Not Shumi, who's also on those mediums, might not be safe enough to get on through the next session. Xander's invalidated, as has Hamrick, so we'll join either Top Dog or Quentin, depending on who is progressing through the lap. It's Quentin who's actually on his hot lap right now, so we'll watch him. Quentin. Nicely through sector 1 then. Hamrick leaving the session. Not for the first time. We've seen Hamrick bail on us, so hopefully that's a temporary thing. Hope to get him back if we can. In sector 2, 102.6, I think that said, so nice time there, even especially on the mediums. Time is already coming out for his second hot lap. Madtrav in the pits on mediums. That time is not the one he set on mediums. He obviously set that on softs, hoping to go faster than that on the mediums. Way to the line then for Quentin, and it's a 32.926. Very nice time on medium tyres, I think. So very, very good to get that on the board. Be his starting tyre. Of course, we're in Q2 here. Dom Rabico is going slowly to bring the mediums up to temperature, but Xander, I don't think is. I think he's actually on a lap and leaning on the tyres as we go, despite the fact that they've done two laps already. Perhaps trying to set a time on used softs. Seems to be the way our guys handle these Q2 sessions. Set something that's beatable on the softs, but not beatable by yourself, that is, and not revealing your full pace, just in case you can't get another run in. Xander just losing adhesion on the very apex of turn 19 there. A couple of attempts to get into the apex, possibly, and to the line then. Xander 32.7 on the soft tyres, but they are 3 laps old, and that could be important later on when it comes to race use, if you can't beat that time on a new set of tyres, regardless of what compound he runs. Dobrabico is coming into the pits having not set a time as well, so we'll join Top Dog perhaps, who in sector 1 doesn't appear to be going a huge amount faster. Likewise, I think Quentin is on a cooldown. Yeah, interesting that the graphic is telling us he's still on lap 0 with these mediums. So I think we've got a slight lull right now, waiting for the drivers to actually set their representative times. We'll join Top Dog in case this turns out. No, it's definitely not a hot lap. Matrav on mediums though, 3.5 tenths faster through sector 1. He's navigated the difficult S's. Yeah, Hamrick did have a power cut, it appears, so hopefully he's on his way back through. I think JR was acknowledging his teammate in the paddock chat here, and we will welcome Hamrick back to us, thankfully. Yeah, just for that tow, thanking his teammate, which is all important, of course. Matrav, purple middle, which is what he wants to see, of course. Imi goes fastest again, 132.370. That's his second lap attempt, this time on softs again. So Phantom and Matrav still competing. Matrav fastest time, 32.2, and that's a very narrow margin to Imi Alonso. So let's see how that one ends up with, I think, Phantom going 4th fastest. So very good to see the drivers starting to put in those fast laps. Dom Rabico has gone for a slightly different run strategy to everybody else, and possibly just doing two runs. Hasn't set a time though on these soft tyres, so it's really going all out for managing to get to qualify through to session 3. So Don just finishing off the lap, turn 19. Ooh, it looked like he was in two minds whether to pit there and come back in. I think he's going to go for it though, but he's going to go for a hot lap. Now here we know Matrav and Phantom are on their way in, so just Don to watch. Maybe Don just does this for the views and the screen time, going on different run strategy to everybody else. Nice lift. Oh, just slightly too quick though, and just lost the ideal line. 25.2 is his first sector. That's a little slow. Gets the car down nicely and beautifully through turn 11. Waiting for that braking point. It is quite early as you're going slightly downhill. It does feel like those marker boards are slightly misplaced. Nicely going through this stadium section. This is the Grand Plaza, this section here. So we're told. Matrav has decided that he's safe on those mediums, and who could blame him? Don Rabico then for the line. It's a 32.188 and fastest time, so I'm pretty sure he has saved himself from any elimination problems, but he will be starting on those soft tyres. And Zander just getting that turn all kinds of wrong, going through the gap between turn 1 and turn 2. So if that was a hot lap, it's cooled significantly. Quentin, fastest middle sector of all so far. Now, soft tyres is a little bit of a surprise to see him going out on another set of softs and scrubbing another one. Top Dog does go top. I've been waiting for that. Quickly beaten by Neil, unfortunately. I only laughed because of the timing. 31.852 is Neil's quick time. Quentin then sets another fastest lap. This time it's a 31.7, and Matrav's going to start to sweat in the pits down there, I think, because cars are all going quicker. The track is getting better for them. Let's see what Zardi can do. He's got no time on the board. All the pressure in the world on Zardi. We're 15 seconds away from the checkered flag falling, so it's now or never for anybody 11th and beyond to finish those laps. Let's keep an eye on the tower while we watch to see if Zardi can keep the lap alive. Simps with another fastest lap, another lap deposing Matrav down to 7 now. Starting to get pretty uncomfortable, that seat. And Zardi then, see if he can get himself out of the elimination zone. Final run complete, 10th place, just out of the elimination zone. I think Matrav is going to survive this one as the rest of the drivers start coming in. Alonso, he was the first driver on the lap. I think he's going to be the last driver on a hot lap through here, but he's not under threat, so wouldn't surprise me to see him head into the pits and not want to start on these tyres. He's slightly slower anyway, so not much left to go at. What about not Shumi? Yeah, he's completely slowed. Alonso just making sure that he stays in rhythm. Don Rabico retires from 5th, so calculated risk has worked out for Matrav. So Imi goes faster, and yeah, maybe just preferring that set of tyres. Deposes Matrav to P8. So he's made it, Matrav, our championship leader, but only by about half a second. When I say that, it doesn't seem so much, does it? So he was probably feeling relatively calm. You don't you don't lead the championship with the way he is at the moment. With being easily rattled, I suppose. Looks like our session is done. I don't think anybody is going to be able to do another lap right now, so we'll just get some atmospheric, almost golden hour views of the beautiful Alfa Romeo going around this awesome circuit. I'd love to go and see this circuit one day. There we go, session done and dusted. So Simps managed to set that fastest time after having a dramatic and dodgy Q1. And then Quintin, Neil, Top Dog, Rabico, Shumi, Alonso, Matrav, Xander and Zardi will contest Q3. And we lost Phantom. Interesting to have lost Phantom there, who's got a good place to start the race nonetheless in 11th. Royal Viking, JR, Tiago and Hamrick, all of whom will have their first choice of tyres and brand new sets of tyres to start the race on. But Phantom and JR possibly giving up the opportunity to get into Q3 by using those medium tyres, unfortunately for them. .3 seconds, we're being told, is the delta between the compounds on this day in history of the track. you're enjoying this with us today as we wait for our first drivers to come on out. 12-minute Q3 session. This is where we get the really quick times and the exciting driving, high pressure stuff. As we get ready for our laps, Quentin will take us around as the first car out of the pits. I hear what you're saying, Brian, and my sympathies, but you'll understand if my focus is fully on this race today and this division, of course, this championship. JR's getting a bit worried about the race start. He's just suggesting everybody take it easy. So we'll see. Because of the simulation damage, I guess, is his. Please subscribe to the SAF1 channel if you haven't already done so. If you have done so, drop me a note in the chat and let me know, of course. So we're looking forward to seeing these 10 fastest drivers so far tonight battle for supremacy, and Quentin, as I say, will be the first one to go for it. I think Madtrav is just behind him on track, actually. So I'm torn. No, my rule is to do the first guy on track's lap, as long as they stay valid. So we will watch Quentin. Just very tempted to cut back to Madtrav, but I'll try not to. So Quentin on the way through then. Turn 2 dealt with, turn 3 is easy. Turn 4 is where it starts to get about positioning. I'm pretty sure he went through 5 flat, but had to lift big time through 7. Of course, fastest first sector of anybody. Josh says he will take being a 10th off the soft delta. He will be happy with a 13th place start. DRS open for Quentin. Let's have a sneaky look at Madtrav. He's invalidated, so there you go. Good choice to stay with Quentin. We've seen Madtrav go for it from the off through Q3 before and end up scoring pole on his only valid lap at the end of the session, so it's not time to get too worried. So Quentin, 2 corners to go. Looks well within control through 19, number 20, and away to the line then. 31.7 is a handy time to put in first off, and Jaime will be hoping to catch a bit of a tow as Jaime Alonso comes to the line here. It's a 32.4, so quite a bit slower actually, Jaime. I think Zardi's coming up behind him. His teammate 102.5 is a good sector 2 time. Zardi gets a 33.0, so I'm not sure that final sector was a huge amount to write home about. Top Dog goes 3rd, 32.5. Next up, one of the McLarens. It's Neil who gets the fastest time, a 31.5. Provisional pole for Neil then, as Simps is on an outlap. I think Xander, yeah, it's the same. Not Shumi didn't manage to complete that one, so we'll head down to Dom Rabico finishing off his lap. Perhaps could have stolen a little bit more apex on the way through 19 and a lot more through 20. I think his tyres are gone. It's a 32.6. It's a handy time, but it's not going to trouble the front row as things stand. So let's join Simps, who was quickest in session 2. See if he can bring that forward. Doesn't have a teammate to help out through this session. Of course, Mercedes and McLaren and Alfa Romeo do all have the opportunity, at least, to go for toes down one of the 2 long straights. looked a little uncomfortable under braking. I hope that was just an audio glitch with connection. Josh says that he and Simps are running the same race number, and he asks, what are the chances? Well, 1 in 99 are the chances. I hate to be that guy, but that's how I look at it anyway. Heading into the pits then, Simps not happy with that lap at all. So some room for improvement from some of these drivers, especially for not Shumi, Mad Trav and Simps. Haven't been able to hook the lap together. Xander is still alive on this lap though. Xander 32.5. So as things stand for the first session, we have Neil, Quentin, Aimee, Top Dog, Xander, Don Rabico and Zardi, all set laps that are working well for them. Not Shumi, Mad Trav and Simps with a little bit of pressure on. The fastest time so far, 31.5. I think we're going to see them go a bit faster. So some outlaps coming for Top Dog, for Aimee, who's quick out the blocks yet again. Aimee first of the group there, with Quentin behind. No sign yet of Mad Trav, who of course was a little bit late coming out for his first run. Really, there is only time for 2 attempts. Predictions for pole, if you're watching in the chat, what's your prediction of time and driver who you think is going to get that pole position tonight? Or if you fancy really going for it, what about the field spread for the top 10? I'm going to go for 9/10 separating the top 10 as Aimee goes on his next attempt. We'll follow him as long as he stays valid, of course. Might go for a sneaky look at some of the other drivers. Mad Trav's on an outlap. Important to watch him, of course, as the championship leader. And Vino has joined us during qualifying. I hope that's not problematic, but focus on Aimee right now. Faster in sector 1. Not by a lot, not by enough yet to trouble the front row. What about Top Dog? He's a little bit quicker still. And Quentin, slightly slower. These are currently second, third and fourth, these drivers. We ride with Aimee, who's got the third fastest time so far. Go towards end of sector 2. Get an update about now. And he's gained a quarter of a second through sector 2. Let's see what Top Dog can do. Up to the line. I think Mad Trav just about to start his lap. I will join him very soon. Half a second faster for Top Dog. A big improvement for him. And a fastest middle sector for Quentin. So everybody really going for it. Let's see what Aimee can do. Third place, 32.4. Can he break into the 31s as he goes towards the line? It's a 31.7. Beautiful time from Aimee. Top Dog then, closing off his lap. Looks like he might be able to jump Quentin. And for Top Dog, he does get past Quentin comfortably. And Quentin then for the line. Will he get that back? New pole position from Quentin. Excellent stuff. Let's join Mad Trav then, halfway around his lap. Of course, we get no sector updates because he didn't set a lap first time out. And as I mentioned before, all the pressure on Madtrav, now or never, absolutely on the line. Look at that on the braking. Not Shumi will not set a time, and Simps is out there for one of the latest possible attempts at a lap. He's up the road ahead of Madtrav, but hasn't started his lap. Similarly, Xander is actually further behind Simps and might struggle to get round. Comes Madtrav then. Can he get pole with a single valid attempt? To the line, that looks quick. It is quick. It's a 31.2 for Madtrav, and very, very nicely done. Gets himself a provisional pole, but Simps will have the track in the best condition. Plus stabs of the throttle through the S's. Xander hasn't even started his lap yet, but he's going to make it, and he's calculated that one beautifully. Xander will have the final say of our session tonight. Neil's popped in a good time, as has Dom Rabico. Dom Rabico up to P3. Like I say, P3 in the championship at the moment, Dom Rabico. Certainly hoping to have a strong outing and a better result than last week. So Simps getting the car down. How's this looking for him? I'll just quickly join Xander, see how much quicker he is. 10th and a half, but it's not going to happen for Xander. It's all on Simps then to close off our session. Simps sprints for the line from 10th place up to 5th, 31.7. And we ended up with, I think, a 1.3 second delta across the session. Don't go anywhere, don't worry. I'll be right back for you. So Madtrav with the pole position of 131.243 beats out Quintin and Dom Rabico, followed by Neil Simps, Jaime Alonso, Top Dog, Zardi, Xander, and not Shumi. That will be soft tyres all around. I think Shumi will still have to start on softs. Try and have a check of that in just a second for you. Well, I hope that was entertainment for qualifying, but now it's all about points. And that's what we're all here for, after all. Let me know people are still here in the chat. Don't make me do this on my own, guys. Okay, yeah. Neil's not impressed with his he was going for pole, and yeah, not too happy. Invalidated last corner, but then Madtrav clapped straight back with I could have gone faster. Oh, racing drivers. Racing drivers, eh? Now, Amy Alonso joining is another worry. I do hope we're not going to be sitting around. Now the countdown starts, so hopefully we'll be all good. Have a quick look at standings once again. Just remind you where things are with McLaren on top against Ferrari and Mercedes. Very close, those three teams. Hopefully that's going to continue the battle. It's also close for fourth between Alpine and Red Bull. Close for sixth between Aston Martin and Williams. And Haas, Alfa Romeo and Alfa Tauri. Certainly hoping for improvements. Obviously Madtrav leads the championship and might well get this done quite early. If he does, I hope we get some good first challenges and things like that. Vino will join us and try and start from the rear of the grid. Although I'm looking at a pit lane for him at the moment, so that's not good news. It's not a great start to proceedings, is it? But Matty is already around the track. I think maybe Vino, he just hasn't got into his seat yet, so he might get himself disqualified. There we go. Hamrick, I don't think will be able to take part. Looks like Vino getting away from the line, but Hamrick not. So medium tyres then chosen by Phantom, JR and Matty. Hard tyres on Tiago, that's going to be difficult. But of course on plan A and top strategy is our pole man, Madtrav. And with the weather looking stable, you think it's Madtrav's race to lose here. I hope he's not listening and thinks I'm cursing him, but just trying to stay honest on this one. With Hamrick, Vino and Royal Viking choosing softs, we'll look to them to make up moves through the race, and certainly in the first lap or two. Tiago and JR seem to have come together on track and have been disqualified, so I'll wait for a comment or two from that one. Almost underway for you. Again, thanks to our sponsors. There's our DR Developments, Rabagraph Holdings, and Quintessential Photo and Video Works. Very grateful for their support. We're almost under starters orders then. Got a car, yeah, interestingly positioned on the on the starting grid. Oh, this game, guys, this game. I'll try my best to get you a good starting view as well, but it just takes a minute or two. Definitely an interesting position for that Williams to start the race. See the gradient of the track there. Just need whoever is causing the issue here to leave the lobby for us. Just waiting, hoping that this is going to pick up. I'm poised and ready to go. Very excited. Hopefully you guys. Hamrick's left the session. The car has ghosted. That might trigger us being able to go, or I don't know. Could it be Vino's late join through quali? Here we go. No. Oh, I'm sorry, guys. Will we actually get going, or are we all going to just have to go and leave? and we go. We are away. Apologies for the difficult starting. Matrav struggling with the McLarens, absolutely monstering everybody else, and Quintin getting by him as well. Matrav being swamped here by teammates galore and the championship leader. Simps in 5th place has made up some good places, but Don Rabico leads from Quintin and Neil. Then Matrav, Simps, Top Dog, and Jaime Alonso, your top 7 as we are underway. Apologies for the start. That was a difficult one to call as the screen just went blank. But Don Rabico with a good lead. Matrav then trying to catch up back. He's lost 3 places in the first sector, and that's possibly down to those mediums sitting still for so long. I think we're probably going to see a similar problem for JR. Well, no, he's up in 11th place, so he's gained places where others have lost them. Very dusty offline. You can see the dust kicking up as they go down the long back straight. Neil is closer than most on the way into the famous turn 12, one of the few overtaking opportunities around here, and they will go through. It looks like the field pretty well navigating that very difficult start, as Zardi is currently in 17th place and has missed out and lost out somewhat at the back there. But the leader is Don Rabico. He's 3rd in our championship, and he's really, really on it out here. Matrav struggling to stay on terms with the soft runners as the first few corners and laps get underway. Don Rabico, automatic, fastest lap of Neil. Matrav still with some attention behind him. There he is, having a go actually at Neil, who got turn 1 all kinds of wrong. But it's as you were through after the first sector of the race. Drivers just trying to stay on terms. It's Quintin getting right up close behind Don Rabico. Long-term SAF1 drivers and good friends off the track, but it's all forgotten when the visor's down and we're under racing conditions. Don Rabico trying to hold off his friend as Matrav goes down the inside of Neil. Matrav successfully gets through, but he's having a problem coming out of that turn 11. Might well be struggling. Yeah, it looks like Neil has got the outside line as they head towards turn 12. Will they give racing room? I would fully expect them to. And a nice exchange between the drivers. Simps trying to get a piece of it as well. But Neil holds on. Simps dives down the inside of Matrav. Matrav opens the door, but has a good exit through the next corner. And now they'll go single file through the triple apex right-hander. And he holds on, but he did leave that door open. He knew what he was doing, though. You have to say that much. So, less than a second separating the top 12 drivers in turn, as now Quintin tries to catch up with Don Rabico, and he's dying for that DRS, but he'll have to wait a whole nother lap. Sorry, he'll have to wait till the next DRS zone before he gets to use it. There we go. It's been awarded. It's been awarded just a little bit too late for Quintin, who will struggle to stay on terms as they go through the S's. The DRS definitely helping you to catch up on these corners on this track, but because the DRS zones are so far apart and spread apart by fast corners, it's really difficult. So it's Don Rabico from Quintin, Neil, Matrav, Simps, Top Dog, Xander. Not Shumi is closing on Xander and going for it and getting through. Not Shumi up to 7th. Up near the front, it's Quintin chasing down Don Rabico, getting very, very close, getting alongside. That's all done on slipstream and successfully passing through turn 12 on lap 3 for the lead. Quintin ahead of Don Rabico. Matrav has stayed behind Neil as well, and Simps is very, very close and looking for that gap down into turn 15 again, but not close enough again this time. Drivers still very close to one another. Zardi, though, slipping back. He's made a pit stop and gone on to medium tyres, which is an interesting strategic choice. You would think at this stage he'd put hards on, but everybody has opted for softs. How does that work? Lots of people have gone on to soft tyres who were on hards after lap 1. very confused about tyre choices so far. We'll focus on what's going on the track and not in the pits at this early stage. Looks like Not Shumi is the guy who is really on fire, as Quentin has opened up a little gap there at the front. Madtrav is also catching Neil as they go through the S's. Madtrav's tyres holding on much nicer. Will he go for a dive down into turn 11? Not quite, but Not Shumi will. Not Shumi up the inside of Top Dog, but Top Dog holds the line. And beautiful, good racing between the two guys there. Madtrav closing on Neil. Can't make it work as Dom Rabico slips back from the lead. Held by Quentin so far. Simps getting close again to Madtrav. Will he look for that gap? Madtrav with a little wiggle. Looks slightly leery coming out of the corner, and that's enough to discourage someone, isn't it, to have a go. Do a little bit all over the place. Simps with better grip through the triple right-hander than Madtrav, but Madtrav is right there, and he will have DRS with about a quarter of a second. He's so close to Neil, who launches off the track. You can see the traction difference on those soft tyres from Neil. Might be all the difference it needs to defend from the DRS. It is going into turn 1. Good stuff from Neil, just holding on now. And Dom Rabico is caught back up to our leader within DRS. The McLaren's now struggling not to get in each other's way. Neil needs to hold on to the DRS from his teammate. Dom Rabico slips back hugely through the S's, obviously making much more of a meal of it than Quentin did. Dom Rabico losing about half a second, although that could be deliberate to help out his teammate. I'll give him the benefit of the doubt when it comes to that. Not Shumi continuing now to hound the next car up ahead. Appropriately enough, he's hounding Top Dog. Madtrav will have the DRS, but he's caught in a train of 6 cars, one after the other. It looks like Neil going for a move on Dom Rabico. Not sure he'll like that, but it was done smoothly enough. Quentin has the lead of our race on lap 5 from Neil and Dom Rabico. The soft tyres will be getting towards struggle point with this 3.4 mile circuit. Lots of high speed corners, and you can see Top Dog now going for a move on Simps. Top Dog around the outside off track will pick up a warning for that, I'm sure, but holding on, and Simps going very wide, so pushed offline somewhat, and he rejoins the track fairly abruptly. Madtrav trying to put off his rival as Xander makes a move on Simps. Simps has been at 6s and 7s since being pushed off the track, and he tries to recover, just about does, but off track goes Simps, and I think out of the race. Simps has caused an issue. We've got a double yellow sector 1 and 2. VSC is given, and Simps unfortunately out of our race. And now it's a full safety car, so the drivers will, I'm sure, slow down and start to plan for their next pit strategy. But a safety car after 6 laps is caused by Simps, and really that was triggered on the penultimate corner, fighting I think with Xander, yeah, tumbling down the order and trying to recover and ending up spinning off. Yeah, he's got some little bit of sarcastic remarks to make in the team chat. So unfortunately, that's all she wrote for Simps today. While we wait to see the tyre strategies, we'll be back with the drivers very soon. Let's check out who pits and who doesn't. I'm pretty sure most will pit, although Madtrav and JR will have the option not to. Imi will almost certainly not if he decides to stay on those hards. He gets a free choice to put on whatever he wants. Quentin, Neil, Dom Rabico come in. Madtrav, as suspected, stays out. Then it's Top Dog, Not Shumi, Xander, everybody else apart from JR and Madtrav coming into the pits. while we wait for the safety car, let's have a little look, shall we, at some of our replays we've captured so far. Away from the start, you can see Madtrav bogging down on those medium tyres, getting absolutely swamped by everybody. Did well to only lose 3 places, I think, as things worked out that way. They head on through the first sector, dust everywhere, really struggling to get the cars underway. Already seen that one. Here we go then. We look at Quentin going for the lead. Race. This was lap 2. Getting tucked up. Madtrav gets a place as well at the same time. Next up, see Madtrav completing that move against Neil, trying to at least, but Neil holds on and giving safe racing room to each other. Really good driving out there. This is Neil. And a move from Zander. Successfully. No, it was, sorry, not Shumi getting by Zander. Sorry folks, we're still waiting on Zardi to catch up the rest of the field. Great move here from Quentin for the lead against Dom Rabico. That was lap 3. Very smooth. Lap 4. Madtrav trying to make a move. It looks like that was the Aston Martin there. Battling with Alpha Tauri. Top dog holding him off. Finally. This was the McLaren interchange, which looked cooperative. At least I'm not sure Dom Rabico called it there, but he certainly made it easy for his teammate to get on by. We'll go back to live racing for you. I say live racing. What I really mean is to follow the safety car at the moment. But nice to see a few replays. Hopefully you agree. So Madtrav with JR on used mediums, but with plenty of life left. Phantom, Matty and Tiago also did not pit on soft tyres this time, perhaps hoping that safety cars breed safety cars and they can come on in fairly shortly afterwards. Zach Comrade saying you're looking forward to coming back to racing in SAF1. It'd be great to have you. We look forward to any drivers rejoining the league. Sorry if I'm anglicising your name too much. I see Conrad. Could well just be. It was a very early notification at COTA that the safety car is on its way in. So Madtrav, JR, Phantom, Matty, Tiago haven't pitted. Vino also hasn't pitted, but he's down in 15th place, trading places for some reason with Jaime Alonso. Zardi's caught the back, and we wait for Madtrav to launch away from the start. Still on plan A with his strategy, and we'll be able to extend those mediums slightly as the safety car will certainly help to cool them after the decent cycle they've had through. But Quentin on mediums, Neil, not Shumi, on a good tyre with good flexibility the rest of the race, but possibly only Jaime Alonso and Zardi pitted to the end so far. JR is right with Madtrav, but Phantom has left a bit too much of a gap. You can see how Madtrav is a little bit nervous, but he got a great launch off that final corner. And as they go towards the turn 1, it's Thiago braking very early. Reference the Red Bull in front of him of Matty. Matty was much later on the brakes, much more confident. And Quentin on fresh mediums behind both of them will hopefully be trying to get through the S's safely. Got a yellow flag though. Looks like Zardi didn't make it safely through turn 1, but he's managed to get back under running. A 3-second time penalty for Hamrick, who I didn't think was even racing with us, but it could just be his ghost. I haven't caught up with that one. A little bit of a late move there from an Aston Martin. I think that was not Schumi, just responding. Almost a block kind of move going on. Defending fresh air in the end. And here comes Thiago with Quentin right behind him. Quentin just had good grip. Jaime Alonso with a retirement from the session on the way through turn 11. Quite sure what went wrong there, but Jaime out. And they'll be hoping to avoid another safety car as a result of that one. Phantom is closing behind JR, and JR has let Madtrav get away a little bit here through the lap. 2 sectors, and Madtrav's managed to gain a second over that. And we saw JR was tucked right up behind him as well. But Phantom challenging here for second place. Some penalties at the foot of the field, but nothing to worry about in the points paying positions so far. Lap 10. And Phantom then still on his first choice strategy. Closes to JR, but not close enough. Quentin, though, dives down the inside. Quentin getting the move done on Matty. And his next target is up the road. Matty forming a bit of a moving roadblock here because he's on those used rubbish worn soft tyres, and everybody else is on much fresher rubber, so he's going to be hoping to try and hold the other guys off, and if he can, he'll be doing the favours for his teammate. If he can let his teammate by safely. Bit of a move going on behind as Dom Rabico and not Schumi and Neil are all trying to navigate this turn 11. That looks like it might take a turn for the worse as they go towards turn 12 as they slipstream down the long straight. Not Schumi peels out behind. No way through for Neil past Thiago. Dom Rabico trying not to run into his teammate, but it's difficult out there. Thiago struggling to get these hards up to temperature, but once he does, I think he's going to be in a great position for the race. Neil getting the braking all out of shape, lets his teammate by, but he might be about to let not Schumi by as well. Can he hold on? He's got the inside line through the triple right-hander and just about holds on through there. Quentin closing on Matty. I think we'll see an exchange going on here. We'll see if Phantom can catch JR as they scream up the hill now towards turn 1 for the 11th time. I don't think he's quite close enough in the distance further forward. Matty not letting his teammate by. I wonder if Quentin might be questioning that. Matty can let him by as they go towards the S's maybe. No. Still holding up his teammate here. But they're both worried about Top Dog getting by one of them. Vino and Xander pit for new tyres. Vino's going for new softs. For an aggressive strategy out there. Here comes Quentin then. Could have done with more of a run behind his teammate. Kind of tripping over each other a little bit. Struggling away from the line, and I think it will be Top Dog who will manage to get a slipstream up the hill. Past his teammate, past both of them maybe. Top Dog! Not quite, as Quentin just sort of goes for the middle of the track. And Matty was really struggling there. It's another VSC, and I think it's another issue for one of our Alfa Romeos. They've had an awful time of it so far. So we're VSC on lap 11, our second major caution period. Yeah, we've got Simps having left the session, but Zardi was in a bit of a state there through turn 11. Pause for breath then in the VSC, and Madtrav leads from Phantom and JR. these guys have not pitted, and neither has Tiago. But with one pit stop still to make, which is probably true of the rest of the field as well. I'm not sure those mediums are going to make the rest of the race. VSC staying with us for quite a while here. The McLarens are pinned together. Not Schumi is faking a move under the VSC, or calling the car maybe, benefit of the doubt. So Zander won't be contributing any points for the Mercedes coffers today. And we go green once again. Some very close racing in the midfield here, with 14 runners still remaining and 16 laps to go. So Don Rabico starting to pressure Matty as they head into turn 11. Seen a number of problems for drivers tonight. Don Rabico will get a good slipstream, very nice, as does Quentin, being passed I think by Top Dog. Yeah, Top Dog getting past Don Rabico, getting past Matty, both on lap 12, but both under DRS or slipstream conditions. Didn't take a lot of effort in the braking zone. Now it's Neil's turn, and Matty's just going further and further backwards, unfortunately, on those really old soft tyres. He's trying to get through to a point where he can stop for mediums, I think, here. As Sim says, interesting race in terms of strategy. Yeah, absolutely. Lots of different choices going on. One or two of them will prove to be correct, but I'm not sure it's going to trouble the top three at the moment, who are 2 seconds at least faster than anybody else. Neil going for it then. DRS pass into turn 1. It's just about picking the braking zone here. Nice overtake from Neil on Matty. Up behind Matty now is not Schumann. It's just pretty much a question at the moment about who gets to overtake Matty next. That seems to be the way things are going. Matty just trying to hold on to that strategy, plan A, for as long as he can. But to know, Simps, now that your race is over, what you think the mediums will manage to get to tonight? How was the car feeling? What were you expecting in terms of strategy? Nicely here, not Shumi. You can see the grip he's got compared to Matty. When does Matty decide to call it quits? Got to think it won't be far off. 13, 14 laps on the mediums potentially, especially if the car is low on fuel. Matty should be able to pit next time out, and not Shumi there. You just saw why he got that penalty, as his he just gets a little bit too close to the apex. Matty, just to compound matters, is derating down the main straight as well. The start-finish straight, I should say. Up ahead, Don Rabico starting to try and get back on terms with Quentin now. And they've chosen different tyres. Don's softs. He's obviously going for a two-stopper out there today. His medium should come to him later, but he needs to be getting track position more than anybody else. Sims cheering on his teammate, which is great to see. They've been working well together tonight. Hamrick with another penalty, I think, down there. And Don Rabico trying to use the DRS. It's almost going to help him get on terms, but not quite, as now not Schumi is going for a move on Matty, and it's already done. Done and dusted by the time they reach turn 12, despite the best efforts of Matty to dissuade that move. But Rabico now looking the man most likely to make a move in the top 10 here. Thanks for that, Simps. He says soft will fading a lot. Tide Egg seems to be higher than usual. So props to Matty for keeping them alive as long as he has, but surely Matty, it's time to go in the pits. They've done nearly the half the race already. Top Dog is closing. Wow, so close. I took a step back there from the car, from the screen, because it looked like we were about to spin JR round. JR struggling on the tyres right now. Royal Viking is in the pits and has put those mediums on to get to the end of the lap. Remember, Thiago still on his starting hard tyres. Can probably still run for a while. You feel like it might be approaching time where the softs will be able to run. Certainly it's time where the mediums will go to the end, so Matty should be able to make something out of this one. Top Dog then, big defence from JR, but it's not enough. Top Dog up to the podium positions then on lap 15. JR will hope to stay within DRS range, but he's going backwards at the moment, and he's got Quentin very close behind. The drivers still need to do 13 laps. It might be one or two too many for the soft tyres. Certainly not for Matty if he's putting the mediums on. No shaping to the pit lane for the drivers so far. In the top group, Dom Rabico has retired from the session. Matty heads into the pits. What has happened to Dom Rabico, I wonder? And the safety car is getting ready. Yes, we will have another safety car period as Dom Rabico's car is stranded there on the exit of the final corner, I think it is. Let's see as we ride on board. Oh, it's in the pit lane. It's the pit lane entry for Dom Rabico. It's he did 7 laps on the softs. He was going for that late pit stop, and he seems to have made a mistake going into the pits. I hope he wasn't turned around by anybody else, but big drama for Dom Rabico as we go for our second safety car on lap 15. Does that mean everybody will make the decision to pit now? It just happened slightly too late for Madtrav, for Phantom. Of course, they were already past where Dom Rabico's accident was. So, big question then. What do the leaders decide to do here? Surely the two at the front and JR will pit. I think everyone's going to pit, frankly, to do a 12-lap run to the end, especially given we'll have a couple of laps under safety car order to take into account. Let's wait and see what happens. Field's quite well spread at the moment. Vino's a long way back. He's in the pits as Madtrav is coming towards the end of the lap here. Just driving to the Delta, taking it easy, taking it especially easy after anyone might have seen Dom Rabico's issue. Yeah, everybody coming on into the pits. Of course, Matty will benefit one of the most of anybody. Everybody else managing to get the car safely down to the correct speed for the pit lane, but Matty hope to get by people if he can through the through here. I think he might be that little bit too far back. Yeah, the other drivers already in the pits, already on their way out of the pits, and we'll wait for the next safety car to finish. I'll just have a look at some more replays for you while we wait for those then. The McLarens, of course. We have Neil and Matty just behind them. Look like Thiago trying to hold off Royal Viking, but Neil with a move up into turn 1. Nicely done. next up. Lap 15 saw Top Dog vying for the podium, getting by fairly comfortably in the end. It's his move for the podium, which he still holds at the moment. Now medium tyres to the end for Top Dog. That might be interesting as the softs reach their kind of at the end of their life. Make sure please that you've subscribed to the channel and you've liked the video. There's nothing happening in the live chat right now while we're under safety car waiting for Vino to catch up to the rest of the field. So plenty of time to just exit out of the live chat for a moment, hit that like button and subscribe and come back to us. Tell me when you've done it. Don has got his head in his hands in the chat here. He's not happy. He won't be able to join us later as a podium winner anyway. We'll try and get at least our race winner for you as a chat at the end. Do stay tuned for that. Unfortunately, we'll go round once again for the safety car because we're waiting on Vino to catch the tail here. Hopefully Vino will manage to catch up before the end of this lap. While we wait, let's take another look at that race start, shall we? Away from the line, we saw one of the rearmost, rearmost Haas really struggling to get away, but none so much as Madtrav, losing 3 places. Although he's not worried about that right now. His mind won't be on the start, as it all worked out in the end. Vino has caught the tail of the field through the S's, so Vino should be with us, and we should be able to get ourselves underway. Hopefully we will have a 10-lap run to the end of this race without further stoppages. On lap 18 then, Madtrav leads from Phantom, Top Dog and JR, then Quentin, Neil, Shumi, Matty, Tiago, Royal Viking, Hamrick and Vino. 12 runners remain, 10 laps to go in our race. We've lost 5 of our drivers so far, but we'll just see if Madtrav can get away from the rest of the field, and lap 1 he usually does. But Top Dog on different tyres. Top Dog, Neil, Royal Viking and Vino have all gone for mediums under that safety car. Everybody else, don't think the softs are going to struggle on low fuel to reach the end of this race, but they won't be able to be quite as aggressive as Top Dog, Neil, Viking and Vino. Just working the wheel here. Top Dog needing to be quite aggressive, but Madtrav's gone super early. He's held the field up and he's gone already, and he's back at racing speed. So I don't think he's going to be challenged through here. I think JR might have a sniff of an opportunity as Madtrav goes right across near the pit wall. Top Dog not near enough. I don't think anyone is really going to challenge into turn 1. That was about as perfect a restart as you get from our leader. And he's already, look, sector 1 isn't even over and he's over a second fast ahead of everybody else. JR is quick through this sector, following Top Dog's mediums that are going to struggle to heat up. So JR definitely wanting to dispatch with Top Dog as quickly as possible. Might have an opportunity under braking into turn 11. He's very close, but just going to maximise his chances here. He'll get a good slipstream, but he'll need a long slipstream and a little bit of ERS to try and challenge into turn 12. Nobody else particularly close to each other. Hamrick's quite close to the car in front, Viking, and I think he's going to go for it. Yeah, there goes Hamrick around the outside, just leaving a car's width, and a nice move from Hamrick. Beautiful stuff. Back up near the front, it's JR all the way trying to get Top Dog, who's so much slower than the front two, on the better tyres. It's all about timing now as to when you use your ERS, what you've got left in the tank. I'll have a look at that in a moment. Not Shumi has been very racy tonight, got himself up to 7. Be looking for even more than that, I fancy, but Top Dog, JR and Quentin are the guys where the action is right now. JR is able to hold on and stay with Top Dog through the S's really well. Here he goes then. Oh, I think he's giving up the opportunity so that he gets DRS. Just biding his time. Waiting for that DRS to become available to him. Or a better slipstream down this straight. Top Dog's got good straight line speed. JR shapes to the inside. Top Dog's not worried. Not worried about that one at all. And Neil and Shumi are entering this this battle for 4th place. 3rd place even, I should say. It's now 4-way battle. If you do get the opportunity to check out JR Design's work, his artistry is remarkable. So do look up his work on Twitter at Reverse Tennessee. It's a very accomplished artist. There we go, back with the DRS, and that should be music to the ears of these drivers who are just behind another driver. JR hasn't got it this time. The announcement came just too late after he'd crossed the detection line, I think. But we'll just see how much more grip he has through the S's as we ride on board. Yeah, big closing speed, almost had to stamp on the brakes as Top Dog struggled. Almost looked like a brake test. I don't think it was. It just had that feel, and you're going to have a little bit of a Coke Brown moment for JR as he approached the back of that Honda powered AlphaTauri. Now will he go for it? Will Top Dog decide to give up the place? He can't really do it before the DRS, and I think it should be now that JR will get the opportunity to get on past Top Dog. He's worked hard for it. He's really earned this one, and away to the inside he goes. Should be job done by the time he gets around here, and yeah, JR up to P3 then with a well-deserved overtake. Matraf continues to lead this one, now by 2.7 seconds. JR is in 3rd place from Phantom, 2.3 seconds back, but he's been held up some time with Top Dog on those medium tyres. Interesting to see whether those medium tyres do have an opportunity to come back to the drivers, or if Top Dog will just continue losing places. Next behind him is Quentin, and he'll be definitely looking to try and copy. However, Top Dog now has DRS as well, so this could be problematic. Not Shumi, doesn't care about DRS trains. There he goes, getting past Neil very comfortably. Lap 22, Not Shumi now up to 6th. Good stuff from the Aston Martin driver. Position change-wise, JR up 10 spots, Phantom up 9 as we go through into this latter part of the race with 6 laps to go. Remember, we'll try and get an interview or two if we can. Neil in 7th place, also doing very well here, but perhaps not quite what he'd hoped for after lap 1, where the McLarens had such a great start. So Quentin should have DRS against Top Dog. Top Dog lost it through the S's on the back of JR, and Quentin now up to P4. 2 down from where he started, but getting back on terms with his ideal race position. How about Phantom and JR though, with those medium tyre choices from the start? JR is trying to gap Quentin. needs to get away from him as soon as possible, preferably before that DRS detection line that's coming up after the next corner. There it is on pit entry. He's not away from him, so Quentin will get that DRS advantage. Not Shumi and Top Dog having a look now on the back of this battle. I think this one's still got some overtakes left in it, this race. Madtrav looking for all the world, as usual, perhaps, like he's checking out. I wonder if JR has got a better downforce setup here. We'll get an idea against Quentin. It looks like, if anything, Quentin's starting to close, actually, through the S's here. So maybe JR giving up a little bit of downforce. 3/4 of a second separate them at the moment, which is probably not enough to be challenging into turn 12. But a good exit for Quentin. JR knows it, look, using the inside line to stop any attempt at catching the toe. Quentin with a late move, but JR's not buying that one, and holds off for now, but gained 4/10 going down that straight without the use of a slipstream at all. Down to 5 complete laps to run. They navigate now the final sector. Looks like Top Dog struggling a little bit. What's going on with him? Not Shumi has a penalty. Might be worth just checking that out. Not many penalties around, but Not Shumi with a penalty, and is right behind Top Dog. So whatever Not Shumi finishes, it'll be plus 3 seconds. But what I can't tell you is how close all the other drivers are to similar penalties. Not Shumi, here he goes down the inside into turn 1. Nice move from Not Shumi, but still with a lot of work to do. Quentin now half a second behind JR. Madtrav's lead is 4.4 seconds from Phantom. JR and Quentin arguing over that final podium position. He'll be pretty pleased if he can debut with the league and get a podium. But I'm sure he'll be pleased if he can get 4th as well. But if he's been in the podium position for so long, it's hard not to be disappointed if you lose out at the death. Quentin closing. Lots of movement around the track, but a fair one, clear move from JR. That's enough to stop Quentin having a go this time. But the laps are running out for the league leader, Quentin. League boss, I should say. Leader is Madtrav in the standings, to mislead anybody. Quentin, 3/10, just a 1/3 of a second away from JR now. Might have an opportunity as they go up the hill towards turn 1. All depends really a little bit on the battery. Quentin is very close. You feel he's definitely within dive bomb range, and he's got more ERS than JR at this point. This is so the battle for 3rd place. Phantom and Madtrav very much on their own at the moment. They can only lose it themselves, really. No one's going to force them into an error here. But it's really on for 3rd place. JR, Quentin, Not Shumi, Top Dog, all within a shout. Perhaps not Shumi. Perhaps he doesn't have quite the same opportunity. They go on through turn 11. For some reason my arrow isn't working on my track map, so it's a bit harder to spot where everybody is on track. Similar move from JR, but Quentin with an option here. Top Dog gets by Not Shumi behind. Does he? Do they complete it? Yeah, Top Dog just getting past. And it was a little bit of squabbling there, but it's successful for him nonetheless. So now just over 2 laps remaining for Quentin to try and get on the podium here. Thanks so much for sticking with us through this race. It's been lots of passing, lots of tense, high quality driving as well. Very few incidents. People people have generally taken themselves out of the race, notwithstanding Simps. I don't want to insinuate anything about Simps. That was definitely being ganged up on. But that was pretty much the only controversial move of the race, I would say. What happened to Simps? Everything else has been fairly cleanly fought, and very few penalties awarded as well. Tiago not really able to make that hard, soft option work. Dom Ravico not making that two-stop option work either. Obviously, with the issue going into the pits, and tyre wear would definitely be an issue. It would definitely be a factor in his pit entry drama. So 6/10 for Quentin to catch, less than that for Notsumi, as he looks to have a really good toe. Quentin on the back, Notsumi with another pass between these two, and Notsumi gets back into 5th place on the road. Quentin on JR, around the outside, catching him by surprise. You wouldn't expect a move there, and Quentin navigating successfully past JR, who will now have mirrors full of Aston Martin to contend with as well. Very unexpected move from Quentin. I wonder if he used a bit of ERS just to help him out through there. JR with the visor down and hoping to try and get that place back, but it's 2 complete laps to run. Just less than that now, as Top Dog and Notsumi carry on with their battle. It's not quite there, as of course Notsumi benefiting from the DRS behind Quentin. Still, I do think 3 out of these 4 cars could end up on the podium. At this point, Notsumi looking like he got it all crossed up going through the first part of the S's. He joined JR, who we know is strong through here. Cuts that apex dramatically. Trying to stay on terms. 4/10 down to nearly 3.5 as they get into turn 11. And can he have any kind of drive away from the corner? Looks like Quentin's got a good burst of speed, but it's just under 5/10. I think he's going to be within range, JR. He's been able to get a toe. Quentin is skipping around on track a little bit. They get very close to one another as they head down to turn 12. It's not quite there, and they are so close, these 4 cars. Top Dog is so close. I think he's just used Simps as a guide for the traction zone of turn 14. Yeah, it looks like, wow, big step out from Notsumi. Top Dog tucked underneath as they go through turn the triple right-hander of 16, 17, 18. And it's the final lap for our leader, Madtrav and Phantom. And it's almost the final lap for Quentin and JR. It is now. Notsumi and Top Dog be sick of looking at each other and battling each other tonight. A penalty for Matty down in 8th right now, who's on for a strong result out there tonight. Penalties pending, of course. So, what can JR do to get back on terms with Quentin? We'll have a look at telemetry. 30% on his car, 50% on Quentin. He's got a lot more to spend. Top Dog barely anything, but similar to Notsumi. So JR can press the button, but he won't have as much energy to use as the Red Bull in front of Quentin. We go to the line then. DRS detection, some derating happening. I think Quentin's got this one wrapped up, certainly under no kind of contention as they go into turn 12. Looks like we're about to finish this one up, and Madtrav will just about finish in front of just won't worry about lapping Vino. So it's Madtrav who takes the win tonight and successfully completes another race win in our championship. Phantom with 2nd place on the road comfortably, with Quentin tucked up into 3rd, gapping JR in 4th to the line. Top Dog's right there, but it's Neil, Notsumi, Matty, Royal Viking should be your finish order. Yeah, it is. And Tiago there as well, rounding out the top 10. Hamrick DNF'd on the final lap. Don't think that was deliberate. And then Vino will have a very long finish lap to wrap up this race for us. I think he might have retired just to help us out a little bit there. So bear with me while I will try and get some interviews organised for you. But most importantly, we'll deal with the podium celebrations and our winner Matrav lifts the trophy yet again. He's making a habit of this, isn't he? And Comrade, who says he is Matrav's nemesis, Comrade will try and rejoin to try and tackle this Matrav domination. Phantom got up plenty of points here tonight though as well, and fastest lap going to Matrav. Perfect, a perfect race and qualifying session for Matrav. He gets the win from Phantom and Quentin. JR with a brilliant debut performance, and I think driver of the day, although Matty might have got that technically. Top Dog in 5th, Neil, Not Shumi, Matty, Royal Viking, Tiago, Hamrick, Vino finished the race. Hamrick didn't technically finish the race, I suppose, but we lost Dom Rabico, Zadi, Xander, Aimi, and Simps all too early, but unfortunately that's the way it goes sometimes. So stick with us as I try to get into the podium. Sorry, the interview session. Please remember to subscribe to the channel and like the video before you go, and I'll try and get hold of our drivers for you. A reminder then of our race calendar, as we have 5 races to go. We're heading to Imola next. I'm hoping to get there into our voice chat shortly. Just bear with me. I'll be there as quickly as possible. I'll be with you very soon. Just connecting in. Okay, I think we'll be good. I'll just check the levels as we start, and we'll go straight away to our winner yet again. It's Matrav. Matrav, how was that for you? Hello, Matrav. Can you hear me?
Yeah.
Excellent. Yeah, we've got you. We've got you. Congratulations, yet another win.
Yeah. Again, like Britain, don't think it was the easiest, but after getting onto the softs, I think all went smoothly. The start wasn't, but after that, it was fine.
Fantastic stuff. We've had a message from Comrade Furi, who says he's on his way back to take you on.
Well, yeah, we'll have to see about that, but I mean, always up for a challenge.
Well, yeah, we sadly didn't have Sparks with us to challenge you tonight, but what were your biggest struggles? Did you have any at all?
I would definitely say the start. It was a really weird start. I think lobby was slightly glitched. So off the start, me being the only one in the mediums in the top 10, my mediums were ice cold. So didn't have a very good start. So I ended up like P4, I think like first corner. And from there, it was just trying to stick within the guys' DRS and make sure that when they pitted, I was right there and able to capitalize on it.
Yeah, it looked like you had no doubt as to your strategy today. You were nailed on for Plan A, right?
Yeah, pretty much. Yeah, it was always going to be a one stop, no matter if there was a safety car or wasn't. Yeah, so I just kept to that and hope for the best, I suppose.
Awesome stuff. Well, is there anything that's going to trip you up? Imola, Saudi, Russia, Abu Dhabi, and Belgium, the run to the final here.
Looking at all the tracks, they're all good tracks for me, other than Jeddah. Haven't done much practice since that track's been added. So I'd say if I've maybe done like 20 laps altogether around that track, it's a lot. But yeah, always up for it. We have to put some practice when we get there. But yeah.
Excellent stuff. Well, yeah, congratulations once again. I want to make sure we've got time for the rest of our podium, but hope to talk to you again soon. Well done, Matrav.
Yeah, thank you.
Phantom, I'll come to you. You've been away from us for a little bit, but nice to come back and get back on that podium.
Definitely. And that was away not by choice, but what can you do about it? Wi-Fi issues.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's good to be back. Good to be on podium.
Tremendous stuff. Well, congrats on that. Again, didn't look like you had any strategic worries tonight.
No, not at all. Even when I got knocked out in Q2, I was dead set. I was still happy with the mediums because I knew the race tire, that it was the perfect race tire to race on. And yeah, I just stuck with the one stop as did Trav, and it worked out for both of us.
Yeah, fantastic. Congrats then, and well done on another podium. Any chance, do you think, of challenging Mad Trav as we head towards the end of our season here?
I could only try and show up and hope no issues arise. But yeah, missing last week didn't help anything. But yeah, I'll keep playing for it and keep showing up.
Excellent stuff. Congrats on that one. Quentin, let's come to you then. Podium at the end. It was tough work against JR.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, it was quite a tactical battle. I waited until the final lap, or I wanted to wait until the final lap for the overtake, and I think he might have intentionally ran wide at the end of that straight to get me past. Yeah, I decided to just, go for it full send on the final lap and hopefully be able to defend my position. And yeah, I came out in P3, but it was a good battle with him. I really enjoyed it.
Yeah, brilliant stuff. Well, congrats on a podium. Congrats on a good battle as well, and coming out on top. Impressed with anybody in particular? I mean, I guess JR, debuting with the league, hopefully impressed. But anybody else stand out in your mind today?
Yeah, I think Don Rebuco impressed me with his start. I don't know what he did there, but he had a massive launch, and yeah, some good pace in qualifying from him, as well as Top Dog and Simps as well. Some good pace in qualifying. Yeah, JR, well done to finish P4 on his first race. I didn't see much of him during the race, except after the last safety car when I was behind him. But yeah, I'm sure he had a good race. I'll watch back the stream, and yeah, always impressed with Madcraft's pace. And then I just want to know who Phantom bribed, because that safety car was perfect timing for him.
Yeah, maybe. I don't think his teammate had anything to do with it, so I don't think it was arranged. But yeah, it worked out. Well, I need to head off. But thanks for another good night racing, and we'll catch everybody same time next week. Make sure you subscribe to the channel, like the video, and followed us on socials as I described earlier on at SAF1 and at WebRoadRed5 on Twitter. But from everybody at SAF1, we wish you well, and we will catch you on the next race day.